Apparently, it's Tyler Toffoli as he gets a new letter on his jersey.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker of the Reef, also the co-host of Western Conference Tuesdays on the Locked On NHL channel. Want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Probably a part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. And if you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do is just follow wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well. And today we're talking about new alternate captain Tyler Toffoli. Who else might be donning the A this season? And get to know the Sharks camp roster, looking at the forwards, looking at the defensemen, looking at the goalies, see who we think is going to stick around, all that good stuff. So before we do all that, do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5, get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. So we had media day today, which is basically all the players coming in and getting their photos taken, all that fun stuff. They film a bunch of little things that you'll see in the game, like, presentations, and it's content day, making a bunch of content. As a content boy, well aware of how important content day is. But I think the biggest news is that Tyler Toffoli has an A. He is an alternate captain. It appears to be. He's going to be an alternate captain for the team this season. And we can also confirm Mario Ferraro will continue to wear an A. Just going off pictures that the Sharks released on social media. So interesting to see who gets to wear the A, especially with so many questions about the C. Logan Couture, if we ever actually see Couture play this year. We'll know more on Thursday when the Sharks actually hit the ice. But my gut tells me is we're probably not going to see Couture, just because I don't know. I have a feeling Couture, they're going to be very slow and diligent with Couture if he ever comes back. But let's focus on Tyler Toffoli. I think it's very interesting and intriguing that he gets here. He is one of these guys to help kind of turn the culture around, right? We all know what happened last season. This team lost a bunch, and Tyler Toffoli, proven winner. He's won the cup. Every place he goes, he is usually on a team that does pretty well. He is well respected in the locker room. Wore an A for the Montreal Canadiens. Was actually captain of Team Canada a couple seasons ago. Like, he's a well respected locker room guy. We know he came here to help Macklin Celebrini. We talked about in yesterday's episode why those two, I think, are going to be stapled together. It just makes too much sense to have those two guys stapled together. We know Toffoli wanted to come to the Bay Area because one, his wife's from Monterey. Go Otters. But wanted to come back, wanted to come to the Bay Area, and two, he wanted to kind of give back, like how he got treated. Remember, coming into a very veteran-laden Kings roster, he got a lot of help and was kind of shown the way, and now has had a long, productive career and wants to turn around and do the same thing for some up-and-coming stars that the Sharks have. So, I think it makes a lot of sense for Toffoli to sport the A, just because of everything you hear about this guy, kind of the guy he is in the locker room. You've already seen him make an impact here in San Jose in the community. For the first time he ever wore his Sharks jersey was at a Pride parade. I think that's a pretty cool little nugget for a guy to like he didn't have to do that. He could have just kind of shown up here at training camp, but no, he wants to he knows he's going to be here for the next couple seasons, next 4 seasons. He wants to kind of put down some roots here and make an impact, and he's doing it right away. And it makes a ton of sense for him to wear an A, especially, again, we don't know if or when Logan Couture is coming back. So again, Mario Ferraro is going to be wearing the other A. We'll see. I'll be interested to see how many Ryan Warsofsky has. I wouldn't be surprised, again, if Couture is potentially out. Them maybe running with 4 alternate captains. Granlund and Cunnin both wore it at the end of the season last year. So wouldn't be surprised if maybe those guys are potentially kind of the next man up if they wanted to kind of go that route. For wearing, guys wearing an A. So especially if Couture is out, I would assume Toffoli is going to be kind of the captain by default. I think that's kind of what happened in Montreal when Carey Price, who was the captain, was it Carey Price at the time? No, sorry, Shea Weber. My bad. Shea Weber at the time was the captain, but he was LTIR'd. So Toffoli kind of took charge and was the guy there for the Sharks, or no, for the Canadians, excuse me, when Weber was out. So wouldn't be surprised if he is maybe kind of the guy right now, even though he's new. I think Mike Greer and Ryan Warsofsky, right, we're trying to set a new culture, and having a new voice in the room makes a ton of sense. And I think Toffoli's kind of the perfect guy. So, I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised if we do see Cunnin and Granlund kind of being the guys, like I said, being maybe kind of the other guys. Maybe Vlasic again, who's worn it before in the past, could be it. We saw Zetterlund. He wasn't wearing one today, maybe because he's still a young player. Maybe Wenberg could be a potential another guy as well. But yeah, it makes a ton of sense from kind of that perspective. So I've had some people ask, well, like, why don't you just name a new captain if you're not sure? I don't think the Sharks would do that to Logan Couture. I think you would probably kind of ride it out. And my thinking behind it is you probably just let Logan Couture be the captain, even if he is LTIR'd, until his contract is done. And then you just hand it to Celebrini, who I think is going to be the next captain of the San Jose Sharks. You don't want to give it to him as an 18-year-old, but don't be surprised if Celebrini is wearing the C at some point in the next few years. That's kind of my thinking. Is it's probably better just to kind of keep it on ice until Celebrini's ready to wear it. So yeah, because I know a lot of there's people already asking, we'll just take it away from Couture. I don't think the way Couture's handled himself, right? It's not like he's been in a tough situation with his injuries. I think kind of kicking him while he's down right now. And he's talked openly about like the struggle to try to even get back to the ice last year and how tough it was for him mentally as well as physically. And I know it's something like kind of and it's like wearing in the sea, but it means a lot to him, right? And I think he takes that role seriously. And I think I don't think it'd be the best interest for the team. It's not like he's not there. He's still there a lot. Like, he's still in the locker room. He's still hanging around the guys. He's still helping out and trying to provide the best, be the best leader he can, even if he can't physically be out on the ice right now. And again, we'll know more, I think Thursday or by the weekend, we'll kind of know more on Logan Couture and kind of what his future, at least his, intermediate or kind of the future right now for Couture. But I just think taking the C from him right now, it doesn't do anybody any favors, right? Like he can have it when his contract expires or whatever happens. Then you can kind of decide from there, or when Celebrini is ready to kind of take the mantle, because Again, it's going to be Celebrini. I think all signs point to Celebrini. The way you've seen Celebrini handle his business as an 18-year-old kid, like he's going to be the captain at some point. It's just the best player like that is usually the captain. And if he is kind of the next Sidney Crosby role, like kind of that's the potential path for him. It just makes sense for him to eventually be the captain. So we don't need to take it away from Couture right now. That's why you have all the alternate captains. They can kind of hold down the fort. And again, I think Tyler Toffoli is going to kind of be the guy for the Sharks over the next couple of years and teach Celebrini how to be kind of the captain, kind of get him ready for that leadership role. So yeah, it's kind of cool. I think Toffoli sporting the A. We'll look at forwards, defensemen, get to know all the players in camp for the Sharks and kind of what we expect to happen with them. So we'll start doing that here in just 1 second. You've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Well, we have something a little different for you now through September 22nd. All FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. So if you're like me, right, my beloved Dolphins out of market. I can't watch them every week because, right, they're on the East Coast, and I usually only get the Raiders and Niners and stuff. But with Sunday NFL Ticket and YouTube TV base plan, I can watch my Dolphins every week, even though maybe right now I don't want to watch my Dolphins every week. So all you need is YouTube TV base plan. You'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon at our market game. You just need a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel at any time. Just visit FanDuel.com and download America's #1 sportsbook. All right, let's get into the San Jose Sharks forwards. So they do have a couple of PTOs. Most of these guys that are tryout guys. Most of these guys we kind of already know. We kind of already know where they're probably going to slide in, but it's good to get a nice refresher as we enter the season. Maybe you forgot, like, oh yeah, they got that guy, or oh yeah, he's back, or where did he come from, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll go through these alphabetically, starting with Justin Bailey, who the Sharks did re-sign. He was a free agent. They re-signed. Actually, he was a successful PTO tryout last year, earned an AHL deal, then NHL deal, and spent a good chunk of spent 59 games with the San Jose Sharks last year. I think he is one of those kind of roster bubble type of players where he's going to be fighting for a job. See him in the end. If he's in the NHL, he's probably going to be bottom 6 guy. If he's in the AHL, he's going to be a huge piece for the Barracuda, who we're going to dive some more into the Barracuda hopefully next week. So Thomas Bordeleau, of course, who the Sharks drafted in the 2020 draft. He's also on the roster. We spent a bunch of time talking about him yesterday, kind of the bubbliest of bubble players on where he kind of slides in. Nolan Burke, who the Sharks acquired in the Askarov trade, had himself a really nice rookie tournament. It's going to be probably an AHL, ECHL type of player, but if he continues to play the way he did, I could see him kind of playing a ton more AHL games than he did last year, where he only played 1. So Phil Beestead, of course, he's Sharks first round pick from 2022. Going to be playing on the Barracuda this year. If he has a good season, wouldn't be surprised if he makes his NHL debut at the end of the season, but Barracuda dude this year. Cardwell, same thing, the part of the 2021 draft. Barracuda do this year, probably going to make his NHL debut at some point this year. Yeah, I think those two guys, it's funny they're alphabetically together because you just need to stick those guys together all the time because they have great chemistry already. So Joe Carroll, who is a free agent from college, he was a free agent signing. Played with Syracuse Crunch, and then also with the Barracuda last year. Barracuda guy, that's kind of where he slides in. Some dude named Macklin Celebrini, Sharks. We've spent all summer. You know who Macklin Celebrini is. He's good. Igor Chernyshov, who was invited but is also dealing with shoulder surgery. Don't expect to see him. He is out for half the season. And he'll be spending his season with the Saginaw Spirit, where he's going to crush the OHL. It's going to be fun to watch when he gets back. So, Brandon Coe, 2020 draft, played out last season with Barracuda. I think, again, another Barracuda guy. We'll see kind of where he is, as he did get re-signed this offseason. But, I think it's a big season for him with the Barracuda. Couture, of course, we don't know his future, dealing with his injury. So hopefully he gets better. But like I said, we'll know more about him hopefully later this week. Ty Dellandrea, who the Sharks acquired via trade from the Dallas Stars. He's going to be another one of those kind of bubble guys. I think most likely NHL type of guy, but is he going to be, where's his spot? Is he third line guy? Is he fourth line guy? Is he an extra guy? I think that's kind of his big question. William Macklin, first round pick in the 2021 draft. Of course, we know solidified top 6 winger for him. Barclay Goodrow, the Sharks acquired via waiver claim from the New York Rangers. You can go check out my episode on that where I was not happy about it, but here we are. Goodrow, bottom 6 guy, brought in for his leadership. He's another potential A guy wearing an A this year as well. Could be kind of, but yeah, he's we know why he is here. He is here to help protect the young children and provide some leadership. Again, that change of culture. I think that Ryan Warsofsky and Mike Greer are very much into right now for good reason. Colin Graff, another kind of bubble player right now. The Sharks signed out of Quinnipiac last season. Played a couple games 7 games with the Sharks last year. I think he starts with the Barracuda because I think it's best for him to start with the Barracuda, get some games in, get used to being a pro, and not on a team that was the dumpster fire, the 2023-2024 San Jose Sharks. Luke Granger, a free agent signing out of the NCAA last year, played in Western Michigan, also played 2 games with the Barracuda. Barracuda guy as well. So Barracuda, maybe ECHL type of guy. All right, let's quickly. Granlund, we know Sharks guy, who they got in the Erik Karlsson trade, Carl Grundstrom, who they traded from the LA Kings. He's another kind of bubble, but most likely NHL type of player. Gushin, who I don't think maybe we've spent enough time talking about this summer. Another kind of bubble guy, but I think he's going to start the season on the Barracuda. Kasper Holttunen, his big question, right, is Barracuda, or does he go back to the OHL to play with London? I think I've said my piece on why I think he should play the Barracuda, but he needs to have a big training camp, I think, to kind of solidify himself. Klim Kostin, who the Sharks got from the Red Wings last season from Radim Shimmick. Another bubbly guy, but I feel like he's pretty solid on the roster. It's just kind of what's his role, I think, is his big question. Luke Cunnin, who of course has been here the past couple seasons, re-signed this offseason to a 1-year deal. Bottom 6 guy, you know what he's here for. Ivan Ladina, who is a tryout player. He played last year in the ECHL with South Carolina, was also with Ryan Warsofsky when he was coach of the AHL Wolves. We'll see anything there. Maybe he earns himself an AHL contract. Maybe he's, kind of put some tape that way out there. So that way maybe somebody else looks his way. Quint Musty, who the Sharks, he's either Sharks or he has to go back to the OHL. Those are his 2 options. So he needs to have a monster training camp, I think, to make the team. But the dude's he had a monster rookie face-off. So let's see if he keeps playing well. Nathan Peeling, another tryout player, spent last season with the Seattle Thunderbirds in the WHL, where he had 23 points in 38 games. If he's probably one of those potentially AHL depth types of players. Andrew Portolesky, who the Sharks signed this offseason, he is expected to kind of be the Barracuda's best player, at least best forward. Dude just wins everywhere he goes. He goes to the the finals. Like he's here to help raise the floor of the Barracuda, and expect him to have a monster season with the Barracuda. So help out the young guys. Tristan Robbins, I think another Barracuda season. I know last year he dealt with a ton of injuries, so hopefully he can kind of get back on track this year. And then at the end of the season, maybe play some NHL games. Mitchell Russell, who the free agent from a couple of seasons ago, he's been dealing with a lot of injuries, but it seems like he might be getting back on track here. Played mostly in the ECHL and got a couple games in the AHL last year. Scott Sabrin, Barracuda veteran type of player who they re-signed, or they signed last season. Giovanni Smith, who the Sharks signed the last season as well. Bubbly player, but I feel like he's probably going to be a Barracuda guy. Will Smith, we know he's going to be on the Sharks unless things go catastrophically bad. Nico Sturm, Sharks player, bottom six guy. Julius Sumpf played in the Q last year, had 55 points in 60 games. He is on a tryout. Didn't really do too much in the rookie face-off. So we'll see kind of what happens with him. Toffoli, who we talked about, he's one of your alternate captains. He's on the Sharks top six. Lucas Van Roboy, free agent who the Sharks signed out of UMass last year, or the Barracuda signed, out of UMass. Really nice rookie tournament. Going to be a Barracuda ECHL type of player, but showed some physicality. I think there's a lot to like there. So Donovan Villanueva played with the Barracuda last year, was also an NCAA guy, free agent. Again, one of those AHL, ECHL type of players. Anthony Vincent, who was a free agent signing out of college last year. Dealt with some injuries in the Barracuda, but I really like his game. He's got some grit to him, but he's also got a little bit of scoring touch as well. Really nice dude. Talked to him last year. AHL, ECHL type of guy. Alexander Wenberg, Sharks, probably middle six type of winger or center for the Sharks, especially if Logan Couture is injured. Carson Wetch, one of their draft picks from this year. He's going to be in camp, and he's going to go back to the Calgary in the WHL to go play with the Hitmen. Colin White, Barracuda guy, again, adding some more depth. He played kind of AHL, NHL. He was kind of all up and down, but he's going to kind of like Barracuda guy, add some more veteran leadership there. And then Fabian Zetterlund, Sharks top six. We know what Fabian Zetterlund is. So that is the entire forward group. That's a lot of them. We'll get to the goalies and the defensemen here next. As we're here at training camp, guys. We made it. If you want to go catch a Sharks game or Niners game or whatever event, whether it's sports, comedy, theater, whatever, concerts, you got to go check out Gametime. Gametime is a new feature called Gametime Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events easier. Gametime Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. The thing I love about Gametime, though, is they curate these deals, make it easier to find the best price on great seats. They have super deals. You can view your seats before you buy, because there's nothing worse than getting to an event and realizing my seats stink. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL, LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Game time. All right, before we get to the defensemen and the goalies, of course, want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen, probably part of the Locked On Network. For your next listen, go check out one of the other great shows here at the Locked On channel. Of course, you have Locked On NHL, where we're pumping out 5 episodes a week. Thursday is the Power Rankings episodes. You can kind of see where all the teams are ranked. Spoiler, they have the Sharks at 8th. I voted them 7th. Maybe it's my teal colored glasses. But anyway, or check out any of the shows here in the Bay Area. You got Locked On Niners, Locked On Warriors, Locked On A's, Locked On Giants. So we got you covered here at Locked On, where we cover your team every day. All right, to the defensemen. So Matt Benning is coming off a massive injury. Only played 14 games last year. He's going to be in the lineup if he's healthy. We'll see. You have Jeremy Buechler, who was a free agent signing out of the NCAA, played 11 games with the Barracuda last season, where he had 2 points. ECHL, AHL type of guy. Luca Cagnoni, who played at Portland last year, he's expected to have a good chance to make the Barracuda. That's kind of the goal. That's kind of where things are leaning. I think he's ready to play pro hockey. Cagnoni, Hive, activate. Lucas Carlson, who the Sharks signed this off season. He's going to be a massive piece for the Barracuda on the defense. They added a lot of pieces to this Barracuda team. Lucas Carlson's going to be a big part of what they do there. Cody Ceci, the Sharks, of course, traded for from Edmonton. Probably top 4 for Cody Ceci. I'm curious to see who he gets paired with. Sam Dickinson, the Sharks, other Sharks first round pick this season. He's probably going to be going back to the OHL unless he just absolutely blows the doors off the Sharks. But I think he's going to be in the OHL with London this year, and that's the best spot for him, to be honest. So Ferraro, of course, alternate captain. He will be on the Sharks. Ethan Frisch played the Barracuda last year. Barracuda guy. A really solid Barracuda guy too as well. Jake Furlong, another interesting player because he had shoulder surgery and cut his season a little short last year when he was in the queue with Halifax. Expected to go pro. I think he could be one of those guys where maybe he starts in the ECHL and then as he kind of gets in the swing of things, makes his Barracuda debut. Artem Gurov, guy who bounced between the ECHL and the AHL, but spent most of his time in the AHL. I kind of expect him to be in the AHL again this year. Wouldn't be surprised if he makes his NHL debut at some point. But yeah, he's in there. Braden Hache, OHL guy from last year, was a free agent signing, going to be another one of those kind of Barracuda ECHL type of players. Again, the Sharks, they added a lot of pieces here for the Barracuda. Again, Larocque, I'm hoping he gets to stay in the AHL this year. Hopefully he stays healthy because I still love his game. I think he's got a lot to show still. So Nate Miskey, who the Sharks drafted this season, he's going to be going back to Victoria in the WHL. Shakir Mukmadulin, we talked about yesterday, he's a bubble guy, NHL, AHL type of player. We'll see him playing NHL games. It's just a matter of when, not if. So Vatari Puli, Barracuda guy, really not a lot of flash to his game, but I think he's started to really kind of come along last year. Colton Roberts, who the Sharks drafted this year, he will be going back to the Vancouver Giants in the WHL after training camp at some point. Jan Ruda, of course, defenseman, going to be up top with the Sharks. Again, I'm curious to see how they shake out these defensemen. It's so intriguing to me. Jimmy Schultz, who the Sharks signed this off season, again, just like Lucas Carlson, going to be a huge piece to their defense. Same thing with Jack Thompson, who they acquired last year in the Anthony Duclair trade. Going to be a huge part of the Barracuda's defense. Did get to play his couple of NHL games last year. He'll probably maybe the same thing this year. Gets to play a couple of NHL games. Thrun, bubbly player, but I think NHL. Vlasic, of course, and Wallman, both those guys firmly planted in the Sharks. Going to the goalies. Askarov, we'll see if he can make. I think they let him start with the Barracuda because I think they want this Barracuda team to be good. And if you have Askarov as your goalie with all the other pieces that they've acquired, or this offseason, this Barracuda team, at some point they have to be. I'm ready to be hurt again by this Barracuda team. Blackwood, NHL. Gabriel Carrier, who a free agent, played one game with the Barracuda last year. Most of his games were with Vermont in the NCAA. He's probably going to be the bouncer between the AHL, ECHL. Hopefully get some games over in Wichita. Dawson Cohen, tryout player from Spokane with the WHL, posted okay numbers with them. So we'll see. Kind of maybe he's just a camp body right now. Georgi Romanov going to be the Barracuda. Did get to play some. He played in the AHL, ECHL, and NHL last year. Good for him. I really like Romanov. I think he's really he's got a lot of stuff there with him. And then Vitek Vanacek, we'll see. Kind of pegged as the second goalie, but if somebody's losing their job, I think it's Vitek Vanacek to Askarov. But we'll see. So that is it. That is the entire Sharks camp roster. We'll see kind of cut downs throughout the process and stuff before we get to our final camp or final opening 23. So yeah, we are here, guys. We've made it. We made it through the desert. Ready to start hockey season. We have our first preseason game on Sunday. So we'll be back tomorrow, of course, to way overreact to who is playing with who for the first kind of for the first day of training camp, kind of react to that, all that fun stuff. So make sure you guys are following wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter at MyFryHole. Till tomorrow. Bye, friends.